Yeah. For time is the distance, in a way, is what he's saying. For time is the longest distance between two places. So longest is what makes you think. It's the word longest. It's not really time and it's not distance. For time is the longest distance between two places, is kind of showing the weight of time, that it can be measured in distance. And for time is the longest distance between two places. Fits. That actually fits. All of them make sense to a certain extent, but his version is what became what you know as Shakespeare or Tennessee Williams. You know, it becomes a concrete, becomes the words of choice, the words that are printed, the words that they chose, the ones that you get fined if you miss. And they fine you and they dock your pay. If you were to say, for distance is the longest time between two places, which isn't done, it's been done. But it's for time is the longest distance between two places. That's what he wanted. In my book, in my time, and what I do is I get it wrong, and then to make you mad, I get it right. See the difference? Well, if that would be wrong. Oh, I see. Oh, yeah, I guess that is right. Oh, that's wrong. Oh, wait. No, that's right. That's right. People love to stand there in the theater and go, this is right. That is wrong. It doesn't happen exactly that way. Now, you can get them on downstage, upstage, stage right, stage left, down center, down right center, down left center, upstage right, upstage to the left, crossing this way to the left. And you can get them on certain type of angles and issues and regulations. But I promise you this, Tennessee Williams would have never been Tennessee Williams if he followed all those stinking rules. And the new school actually teaches you that sometimes the rules are not what makes the creativity great. What makes the creativity great is the fact that it's done. And that there is time. And it is the longest distance. And it is between two places. In one of Tennessee Williams' plays, he was thinking about writing about a chicken place. He titled it Chicken Express. And he didn't like the play. They threw it away. Someone found it and decided to really open the chicken place. True story. In 1939, Tennessee Williams worked in Laguna Beach at a chicken ranch. And he decided to write a play called The Battle of Angels, which turned into Orpheus Descending. It was a disaster. He wrote it for an actress. She sat down. She's a pretty well-known actress, pretty famous. If you know that actress's name, leave a comment. You'd be a genius if you did. But he sat down with the actress. He said, so what do you think? She said, it's a disaster, but I'd like to have a drink. She wanted to talk to him. It was a rewrite of a Greek tragedy. Accompanied a kind of an outside fugitive kind character that wore a snakeskin jacket named Val, who works at a dry goods store. And all this chaos goes on. It gets burned down with coal. The ceiling of it gets ripped away and everybody shoots one another, and there's all this fire. So the Battle of Angels, written by Tennessee Williams in 1939, was produced in Boston, Massachusetts. So Boston set it in it. Man, they wanted to close the play because the language and just the behavior of the characters were wild. It was like some kind of craziness, almost something out of a David Lynch something. Everybody's killing each other, and not in real life, but in the play. The dry goods place gets set on fire, all this fire, and they spray this water, and this guy goes flying into fire, and the place is on fire, and someone gets shot on a staircase, and there's a lady gets an abortion, like all this horrible stuff. They didn't want to really have that play to be produced, so they attempted to shut it down, and eventually it did shut down, and it got really, really bad reviews. It was a complete disaster, and it was that way for several years, almost like a decade. And then it became what is known as Orpheus Descending. The whole play was written on $1,000, and it was a Rockefeller Foundation grant that his agent, Tennessee Williams' agent, helped him get that grant. Orpheus Descending, which it became, opened in 1957 on Broadway. So even though it was a disaster, it returned and made its second coming right there on Broadway in New York. The lady that talked to Tennessee Williams, she actually was in an Alfred Hitchcock production called Lifeboat. And her last name, I'll give you a hint, it's Bankhead. Do you know what actress that is that he talked to? She was a theater actress. Her name was Bankhead. Talala Bankhead was the actress that talked to Tennessee Williams about the Battle of Angels, which was written a long time ago. 1939, and then I think it was rewritten into Orpheus Descending, and then it appeared on Broadway in 1957, I believe. That play, even though it had its failure, would end up making Tennessee Williams a little bit famous. And then he finally got noticed in 1944. Well, I guess it's kind of weird. I mean, it was a failure. It didn't come back till 1957, but in 1944, Glass Menagerie did make him pretty famous. And then Streetcar Named Desire made him really famous because MGM decided to sign him up on a contract, and then he became a famous playwright because of Streetcar Named Desire, which is around that same time, probably about 57. Now, that was probably when the popularity of Streetcar was known. It took a long time before Streetcar really became very famous, but it actually stuck its head out there and was noticed on Broadway and everything was 1947, 2 years after the war ended. So that's when Brando got a hold of it, and Marlon Brando made it famous, and then eventually it did make its way to the silver screen. It took some time, and Tennessee Williams had to give approval, and also Elia Kazan had to, take it from Broadway as a play and then put it on to the movie screen. So he was in charge of both. Elia Kazan actually took it from the theater production. He was a theater director and then became a movie star director, or became a famous director. Elia Kazan was one of the first real famous directors. Kind of like Quentin Tarantino's a famous director. Elia Kazan became that kind of famous director, very famous, well-known movie star director kind of thing. And that was all because of a play called Streetcar Named Desire. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if Orpheus Descending didn't inspire David Lynch to do Wild at Heart. Maybe a little bit in a certain extent, because there's a snakeskin jacket involved in that play. And there's a snakeskin jacket involved in Wild at Heart. Val's character actually wears it. If you know anything about Orpheus Descending, it's about this drifter guy who's kind of like this guitar player from New Orleans who's think of Fugitive Kind, if you've ever seen that. And then there's a woman, and she gets involved with an abortion, and then this happens, one thing leads to another, a person gets shot, there's coal poured from the top part of the dry goods store into all this fire. It's like the place becomes hell. This Battle of Angels happens. This was written by a young Tennessee Williams before Glass Menagerie, before Streetcar and everything. So he started off as a very colorful writer, taking from Greek mythology and things, all this stuff. It was really crazy. It never really became famous. It's not even really famous today, but people have heard of it and people have done it. And it's pretty famous, but it's not like your household, play like Glass Menagerie is. taught in English classes, or Streetcar Named Desire, which is taught, you know, English or college level classes and stuff like that. It is mentioned, but it's more of like a specialty play, or a play that's kind of done on the side or something like that. I mean, it's not a star attraction play really, because it's just, he was, it's like I say, he was a very colorful writer, you know, at times. So most all of his stuff is, you know, even if you look at his later play, or actually became a movie too, Night of Iguana. I mean, that starts off a little wild too, if you ever seen that. It's about a minister who gets tempted and all this stuff happens. He does have that kind of colorful style. You just have to like see some of his stuff. They contrast one another. So we do have wildfire warnings, and it's extreme wildfire danger is what they call it. That's what that sign says over there. But they did have a problem right here. So one little cigarette, or if you're smoking a cigarette or something, you know, try to extinguish it in some water or something, because this will happen, you know, just pretty bad. You know, there's apartments and stuff over there. Luckily it was on this side and not over there, because it's bad right now. It's because of how the dry heat is, and it gets that way in California too, where things just go up in a flame. But extreme wildfire danger, they're calling it. So there is the Jesus flag. It's in the very, very distance, right above the Sherwin-Williams paints, and right in the parking lot of Uncommon, or Uncommon, and it's actually a church, but it's the only Jesus flag that I ever seen that's been waving for quite a bit of time. It used to be red and white, and now it's black and white. So they must have put up a new one. It's right there across that highway right there. I used to work and write right there. So I wrote 3 or 4 novels, plenty of plays, poetry, songs, all kinds of stuff right there. It used to be called Camden Oasis. Kind of like headed towards the Fall area, FAA, which is basically like the airport area. Aviation is what the A stands for, and Fall, Federal Aviation, something. I don't Federation Aviation or something. But that's the building right there. American Airlines trains. I say, I was thinking maybe they could turn left. The only problem is that one's also, because it's saying go left here. Ourselves a good one right here. It's a Lone Star edition of Colleyville. You can see the front part of the grill there. It's a real nice one. Only one rear view mirror here. You have it on this side. It's probably from the 60s. I doubt the 50s, but probably definitely to the 60s. It is a classic. It's a little blanket inside or something. They were driving it though. They must have revamped it. Pretty cool. It's right here in front of this place right here. So this is where my Aunt Maydell was buried. One of my family was actually buried right here in Colleyville. St. Grandparents on my mom's side and relatives on my dad's side. Hi. Yeah. Could I have you go inside? I'll just drop it at the door. Okay. Yeah. There's just been some cases. Yeah. Thank you. Uh-huh. All right, passing under the new bridge right here.
It's on forgiving who it belongs to. So, I think I should say what? Where are the areas in your life where your heart tends to go off on its own, forgetting whom it belongs to? Jesus? Is he in trouble about your destination?
Well, I guess that's pretty much it. I was going to do one more, but there's a crazy guy coming behind me right here. He's going like really quick. Oh, wow. He's not going to do what I think he's going to do. Oh my gosh. That's not good. Didn't even try to go on the inside there, but anyway. So Tennessee Williams is an interesting subject. They have done some study. Now, there's a lot of original writings of his, like in his own penmanship, his own handwriting, at UT Austin. So they have it on display, and you can kind of see how he wrote if you're into that kind of penmanship. Oh, they have that kind of thing. They make that kind of L. Oh, I like this T. It's an interesting subject. Now, he did have dreams. Now, a lot of artists, we'll talk about like David Lynch. He says he doesn't really take any of his film ideas and things from dreams, but he has for Blue Velvet. So when he was doing Blue Velvet, there was a dream that he had, and he did use it. But Tennessee Williams did take from dreams. We're going to see this right here. It'll peel away with this Texas Wesleyan sign, and you'll see Fort Worth. Now, he did take from his dreams. Now, the research that was done, it was published work that became very popular and famous. This is a book that was recently written about him dreaming. And he would dream of the stage, so he'd see the stage. He'd see the stage, and he'd hear a voice, and it was like a cloud. It was like a cloud that would appear on stage. There's all this smoke, and he would hear this voice come out of the smoke, and that's how he came up with Blanche DuBois. Now, there was other times when other characters had approached the stage in the smoke, and he would be able to hear them in his dreams, and then recall what he heard, and those were the monologues, and a lot of that stuff came from him dreaming. He was also a ferocious alcoholic. He drank too much. wait, 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 wait,